In this episode, I talk about 3 reasons why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it.
Welcome to the Online Course Coach Podcast, brought to you by TrueFocusMedia.com. Whether you're a beginner or expert, this is the podcast for the latest in online course creation tips, news, interviews, and ideas. And here's your coach, Jeff Long.
Welcome back to another episode of the Online Course Coach Podcast. My passion is leveraging technology to teach online, but my superpower is helping create effective online course videos. And in these podcasts, all these podcasts, I talk about everything from how to improve your online course from concept to completion, and this episode is no different. We'll get into 3 reasons why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it in just a moment. But I want to start at the very basics, at the very foundation. I was in Nashville last week at my mastermind. We meet in person 3 times each year. And actually, we have kind of a meetup at Social Media Marketing World every March as well. So technically 4 times, and then we meet online every week on a video conference. But meeting in person is just so much more profitable than being virtual. And so there's people like Dan Miller and Aaron Walker and Giovanna Ellison and Jim Cockrum and many others in that group that are just making it happen. And so it's really cool to see other successful people in different industries. But you know what? We talked about our why. And if you haven't read the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I highly recommend it. It really helps you get back to the foundation of not what you want to accomplish, but why you want to create your course, or why you want to be in business for yourself, or whatever you're trying to accomplish. It helps you get back to the foundation of your why. And like I said, it was amazing seeing these very successful people in my mastermind group, and we're all bringing it back to that foundation of why. So one of my whys is, like I say at the end of every episode, it's helping you to teach many, to impact millions. See, I have a goal to help teach and train over 5 million people in the next 5 years. Well, how am I going to do that? You know, I could make it a goal to promote this and do a bunch of stuff to, get 5 million or, a couple 100,000 listeners, and that might happen. But I think I could be more effective if I just help you, the listener. I want to help you to teach more people. Because I know if you teach more people, that those students will impact the world. And I think that's so much better than just me trying to force my agenda, trying to force my ideas, my insights and recommendations. While those are great, I have, perfect motives there. But I know that you as the audience have much more to share, much more to give, much more creativity than just one person. So that's really my why. And that's different than the what and the how. So your what and how might be different than my what and how. But it all starts with your why. So again, if you haven't if you haven't read the book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek, I highly also recommend his TED Talk. I'll put it in the show notes. And there's 2 versions. There's the 20-minute version, and then there's a 5-minute version. They're both fantastic. So again, the more clarity you have on the why of your course, the more effective it will be. Hey, before we jump into the content, I want to get your thoughts. I was sitting down the other day, I was writing some outlines, brainstorming some ideas for some free mini courses that I want to create. And I want to know what you want me to create. It wouldn't make any sense for me just to have an outline and pick my favorite one and put it out there, and then that's not your favorite one. One of the things I talk about so much in this podcast is surveying your audience. Hey, what do you guys want? Whether you're promoting or thinking about creating a paid course, a mini course, or anything, it's good to get feedback. So like I said, I have several ideas, but I want to know what you need this content to be and what you think is your favorite thing. So I'll be taking the top vote and creating that course first and giving it away to you. So pretty cool, right? So you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com coursecoach.com/survey and let me know what you want me to create first. So there's things in there like how a course creator can grow their email list, iPhone video for online courses, how to plan your course, ScreenFlow for courses, Evernote for courses, video for courses. There's several different types of mini courses that I want to create, and I want your vote. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/survey. Fill that out. It's just a few questions. It probably will take you under 2 minutes. And as a thank you, I'm giving away my free guide called the DIY Video Studio Guide. It gives you my recommended gear and where to buy it. And it's pretty cool and pretty handy. So again, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/survey to check that out. All right, let's get right into the content of 3 reasons why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it. And I got these 3. I narrowed them down from several, from more, but I thought we would just stick with 3 because these are the top 3 things I've seen with my coaching clients. And to be honest, I've experienced these myself at different parts of my career. And so, we get excited when people talk about their success with their course, but if you haven't done the work up front, you won't have the success later. And you'll see how that applies to these 3 topics. So the first thing is, one of the reasons why you don't have a successful online course is you don't have a large audience, email list, or influence. And I've seen this time and again. People get really excited. They want to build their course. They make it. They put it out into the world, and then they don't know how to promote it. So start with your why. And that's why I wanted to talk about that at the top of the show is you have to know your why. It's not just about making money. It's not just about, bragging on how many students you have or whatever, you are tempted to brag about or have some pride about. It's more to me about that impact that you have. So that impact might be that, you have more students that are learning X, Y, or Z so they can impact the world. I just got an email from somebody asking me on how they can promote their course when it's something based on something spiritual. It's not, hey, how to be a better sales trainer or better marketer or better nurse or whatever that might be. How do you do that? Well, you have to go to your why. Start with your why, and that will make it easier. So if you don't have a large audience, a large email list, if you don't have influence, well, start today, right? So what's that saying? The best time to grow a redwood tree or whatever was 20 years ago, but the second best is today. I'm probably butchering that, but start today to grow your email list. And if that's something you struggle with, go to onlinecoursecoach.com/survey. And if growing your email list is something you struggle with, you can vote that at the top of your list. You can vote your top 2, which is pretty cool. So if you don't have an email list, start today to grow that. And don't do that through spammy things. Make sure you're serving, make sure you're giving and helping. And that is one way you'll build your email list, which really is your influence. So think about it that way. So if you don't have influence, an audience, an email list, start to grow your email list. Now, I do have a podcast coming up that talks about specific ways a course creator can grow their email list. It's obviously not out yet, but you can subscribe to the podcast to download it when it comes out. Or you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/subscribe to subscribe via email or with your favorite podcast app. And that way you'll know when that podcast comes out. I'm guessing if you're listening to this, probably you're subscribed, but hey, if you're not, and if you want that podcast automatically put in your email or on your phone, then go to onlinecoursecoach.com/subscribe. So again, if you need a larger audience, start today. Start by growing that email audience. Start by doing Facebook Lives. Start by having a podcast or being a podcast guest or doing a lot of different things. You can grow your influence, build even your SEO, your search engine optimization, and start to grow your influence today. Because like I said, the number one reason I see courses not succeed is they don't have an audience, email list, or influence. So make sure you start that today if you haven't. All right, so the second reason why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it is you haven't surveyed your audience and don't know what they truly want. And this was one of my biggest failures early on. I had a series of courses. They were all related to the same software, but in different industries. But I didn't take the time to survey my audience. So while I was able to eventually make that a huge success, when it first came out, it kind of bombed and I was kind of depressed. You might have heard me talk about that before. So survey your audience. Know what the pain points really are, what they really want to learn. Because let's say you have 10 ideas, 10 modules. And I wouldn't make it, 100 ideas, 100 modules, or, the less you have, the better. You want to make sure those items are the most effective, the biggest pain points that you can fix, that you can teach, that you can solve to your students. So find 10 or 20 ideal students and pitch your idea and get your feedback. Now, ideal students is the key word, right? Because if you don't have that is your ideal. If you just ask your friend, your spouse, your cousin, your aunt and uncle, your grandparents, whatever, those probably aren't your ideal students. And the best way to survey them is to find those ideal students, pitch your idea, and even say, hey, this is how much I plan on selling it for. Would you commit to buying that once it's done? And that is where you'll get that commitment. If you just say, hey, is this a good idea? Everyone's going to say, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. You should totally do it, right? Because everybody has a good idea, but it's the people that go ahead and move ahead with that idea that are successful. And the ones that talk to their students first are ultimately more successful. So make sure you get their idea, you tell how much it'll work. You give your idea. It can just be an outline. You don't have to give, a 2-hour-long explanation. Just give the outline. Say, this is how much I'm thinking of selling it for. Is this something you want to buy? Not, is this something you would buy? Because if you say, is this something you want to buy? That is really a yes or no question versus, is this something you would buy? They might be like, oh, yeah, I would. But it doesn't have that urgency. It doesn't have that, almost that buy-in that wanting to buy sounds like. I recently did a Facebook Live on this very topic. So you can go to Facebook and type online course coach and find my Facebook page. And I just did a video on this very topic. And it's called How to Fail Fast in Your Online Course. And I go through some more tips on how to fail fast and how to fix it, of course. But this is one of my top ones. You haven't surveyed your audience and don't know what they truly want. Now, the third reason why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it is you haven't put any marketing or promotions into it. I've seen this time and again where you create the course, maybe you have surveyed your audience, maybe you do have a list of some sort, but you haven't really put in a marketing and promotion plan into place. So a couple things you can do is prime the pump with mini courses, blog posts, podcasts, videos, being on other people's podcasts, interview style, and other content strategies to really build your search engine optimization. The more robust your website is, the more that people, when they're doing those Google searches, are going to come across your website. So that is one thing you can do to prime the pump. It also helps you build your influence, your audience, and your email list, which is pretty cool. And then look for ways to do joint ventures. Are there other people in similar industries that could promote your course? So, if you're teaching sales training, who are people in your industry that are influencers that you could do a joint venture with? Offer them a 50-50 split and say, hey, if you promote this to your audience, you can easily get half of the profit of this course. Now, you do want to be very careful that you are hand selecting these. You're not just going out to a website that promotes affiliate marketing and they're taking people from who knows where that may have ulterior motives, but find specific people in different industries that could benefit from your course. Sometimes this is the same industry as yours. Sometimes it's not. If your course could be applicable to many industries, then look for those joint ventures and really promote it. Now, one thing I will say, before you start marketing, make sure, this goes back to number 2, if you haven't surveyed your audience and don't know what they truly want. Once you survey your audience, I recommend that they go through the pilot test of your course. And ideally, they are paying members. That's right, they are paying members. Because once you have them go through your course, they can offer feedback for improvement. And then once you do your joint ventures, it will make more sense because it will be custom created towards people that are actually taking the course, your ideal students. So when you do those joint ventures, you've worked through a lot of the pain points, maybe some things that you've overlooked. Maybe there's misspellings, or maybe there's tech issues, or maybe there's something that's not clear. Your pilot students can help you so that when your joint ventures are going underway, you'll be much more successful. Another strategy you can use to market and promote your course is to use Facebook ads. And this is something I'm using more and more, both with myself as well as with clients in different industries. And so this is something I plan on having possibly even a mini course and a full course on. So if you're interested in when I release that or announce that, you can go to onlinecoursecoach.com/FB, as in Facebook, FB ads. So that's onlinecoursecoach.com/FB ads, and get alerted when that content comes out. So there are so many ways you can market, promote your course. In fact, that might be a good mini course, right? Or a good podcast, or both. And I've talked about different ways in different podcasts before. So you can even search on the new website. Just go to onlinecoursecoach.com. In the sidebar, there's a search feature where you can search for different topics. So those are the 3 biggest reasons why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it. Again, the first thing is you don't have a large audience, email list, or influence. Number 2, you haven't surveyed your audience and don't know what they truly want. And number 3, you haven't put any marketing or promotions into it. Now, there are many other reasons why your course might not be successful or working. And if you need an experienced person like myself to audit your course, to go through your course from top to bottom, give you feedback for improvement, give you ways to improve your website, your positioning, your marketing, your strategy, your content, etc., I have a pretty in-depth audit process. So you can just go to onlinecoursecoach.com/contact, fill out the form if you'd like information on my coaching services, especially with the course audit, and I'd be happy to help. All right, well, that was today's episode on 3 reasons why your online course isn't successful and how to fix it. Hey, I gave out a bunch of links today. Just go to the show notes for this podcast. Just go to onlinecoursecoach.com/3 reasons, and it will take you directly to this podcast. And you can, look at all those links. Because again, I did give several different several different links and recommendations, even the video from the Start With Why TED Talks. And then lastly, again, I would love your comments. Go to onlinecoursecoach.com/survey to comment which mini course you would want me to create first. I have several different options there that you can select from. And like I said, this survey will, take probably less than 2 minutes, maybe just 1 minute, and you can fill it out. And I'll send you my DIY video studio guide for free immediately after you fill it out. And so that's pretty cool. All right, well, that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And no matter where you are in your course creation process, if you're just in the concept phase or completion phase in marketing, it really doesn't matter. These tips still work for you. But I love giving these podcasts. I have several planned here in the next few weeks, so keep coming back for those. I have some really cool interviews, so keep coming back for those as well. All right, well, that is all for today on the Online Course Coach Podcast, where it is my goal to help you to teach many to impact millions.